Welcome to the Misophonia podcast. This is season 6, episode 34, and actually the season finale of season 6. My name's Audiologist, and I have Misophonia. On this season finale, I'm talking to Nate Johnson, who happens to be the son of Dr. Marsha Johnson, the godmother of Misophonia, the original audiologist who identified misophonia back in the 90s. We talk about being the misophonic son of Marsha Johnson, being a guinea pig for many devices over the years, and I ask him, was his famous mom a trigger for him growing up? We talk about vagal nerve breathing, how his family does not eat together during holiday celebrations, his bad experiences trying to tell friends about miso, and we talk about his current life living in Mexico and traveling the world. Make sure you check out the show notes for several links. After the show, let me know what you think. As always, you can reach out by email at hello@misophoniapodcast.com or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook at Misophonia Podcast. And as always, please head over, leave a quick rating or review wherever you listen to this show. It really helps us reach more listeners as we go up in the algorithms. Remember, you can sign up for private coaching sessions by me. There's a link in the show notes or through social. I'm working with folks anywhere in the world to develop a plan for you to help manage your misophonia better. And also check out the AI-powered personal journaling app that I've released for iOS and Android called Basil AI. Thanks for the incredible ongoing support of our Patreon supporters. If you feel like contributing a little bit financially, you can read all about it at patreon.com/misophoniapodcast. And now, the last episode of the season. Here's my conversation with Nate. Yeah, Nate, welcome to the podcast. Good to have you here on the record, finally.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be here.
So, you want to tell us, where you are and all that stuff?
Yes, of course. I am currently in Merida, Mexico. My wife and I moved down here almost exactly 5 years ago, late March 2018.
We just have to check the Instagram your Instagram feed to find that out because it's
Yeah.
quite well documented.
We're I think in Instagram, I'm in Portugal right now. It depends on what YouTube videos.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Definitely good pictures from there.
So just down here enjoying the sunny weather and working as much as possible. So.
Nice, yeah. So you guys bought a place down there, right? I believe some time ago. And I think last time we talked in person, you were trying to convince me to buy something down there, and I was quite intrigued.
Yes,
seems like a cheap place. But let's talk about how is it like living down there, and we can kind of talk a little bit about the noise side as well, the miso side.
Exactly, you're correct. We bought a house here almost 2 years ago. It is a renovation, so we are not moved in there. We're actually in our rental house right now until that is done. We have plans and all sorts of stuff that we have to go through to get that ready to move in. But we're going to build kind of a miso-friendly house, which is really cool. So it's open. It's got, right now we're planning on 4 different buildings along with our main house. So we're going to have an art studio, an office, another living area, and then an open floor plan so that we can just, if I'm feeling it, I can just move away. And so it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, optionality is important. It's good to have that open space when you need it, but you definitely don't want it all the time. And so it's nice to have those separate spaces. What are the building materials there? Are they kind of like concrete?
Concrete on concrete on concrete.
Okay.
Yeah. And in our rental right now, I am sitting at our table and my wife works right across from us. So we're kind of crammed in here at the moment. So it's going to feel good. Not that I don't love spending every single moment with my wife, but it's going to feel good to have more space.
You have to say that because she's right there, but I understand.
Yeah.
But you have headphones on, so we could talk. No, that's great. Yeah, no, she's great. So, that sounds amazing. Okay, well, I guess also in the preamble, we talked a little bit about kind of how and I alluded to. I kind of met you at the miso convention. You want to talk a little bit about your family and kind of like how that's all related to misophonia?
Yeah. My family is directly related to
Yeah,
misophonia.
yeah, yeah.
So
Influencer.
yeah. So my mom is Dr. Marsha Johnson, the creator of the Misophonia Association. And so she was just starting the Misophonia conference each year. She found, or she used the people that she had that were cheap and that were close to her. So my wife is a videographer, and so she said, "Come down, get your camera, and start filming." So we went down there and treated it like a job, and um, that was
Since the first one,
2013.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, since the
2013.
very
So
first one.
we've been kind of looped into that, and just conveniently, I have misophonia, and so I got more out of those, and I just almost got addicted to it. Going
Hmm.
there, meeting new people, and talking to people, and meeting you, and all of these
I mean, I only came into like
benefits.
the fifth one, I think, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But you guys got
Uh,
definitely got rolling by then.
Exactly. We're on a planning meeting tonight for the one that's happening in November in Albuquerque, and so that
Oh
will
yeah,
be yeah, that will be number
I think
10.
10 or 10th year of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
10th year. I think we had 9 conferences, and then this will be our 10th year. But
Right.
along with my journey with misophonia is living with it every single day, and so I get a daily reminder of
Yeah.
having it, along with working with it and
And
helping
listening to the
recognize it,
podcast every day. Yeah.
and listening to your
Um.
podcast every single day. Yeah,
So yeah. So but yeah, maybe back in because I also had your mom on. You know, fortunate. I was fortunate to have her on like in one of the early episodes. And yeah, she talked about obviously like a lot of her patients, coming in and exhibiting these signs, and this is kind of how she realized that this is a real thing. But maybe what was going on at home? We didn't hear that side so much.
yeah.
Like, when did you first notice it, and how did Marsha deal with that? And I just going by the timeline, where was that? And did she even know what it was at that point?
Well, that was 1997. She saw her first patient.
With
I would have
misophonia, or was that
with
her
misophonia.
first?
I
Okay, yeah,
Maybe it
yeah,
was. She always says maybe it's 17 years or something like that.
yeah.
So it might have been before she saw her first patient with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of exactly what my age was, because I think I might have been maybe 13 to 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
remember it was with my brother. Do you do triggers on here or no?
We talk about them. Yeah, I mean,
All right. It was
we don't
my
like
it was
make the
my
sounds, but that's
brother.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah, but it was my brother's braces.
yeah,
So him just having to deal with how to how to eat with those and making
yeah,
the extra sound.
yeah.
Um, and so I remember it was probably 14, so that would have been 1998. So I think it must
Mm-hmm.
have been way before she saw her actual first patient.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my home life was, I mean, it was, I feel, fairly typical to the average misophonia person, human being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember wearing my dad's shop headphones at dinner. And so
Okay.
I would do a
What
lot
did
of
your
woodwork,
audiologist mom? Yeah, what did your audiologist mom say?
right?
Like, what is happening here?
I don't think she was just so focused on other things. Like
Okay.
she just, she just let me be the weird kid
Yeah.
that I was. And
Mm-hmm.
so it could
Mm-hmm.
have been, I think that there was some thought that I had attention deficit disorder. I
Mm-hmm.
remember going to a doctor about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're Waldorfian, and so they didn't give me
Mm.
Ritalin. They gave me a cream that I would rub on my stomach,
Mm-hmm.
which did
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Are you guys
don't
still?
know.
You went Waldorf the entire way through school,
I
or?
did, yeah,
Yeah.
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 I was fourth grade through the end of 12th grade.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
sister was uh, all the way through 12th grade from preschool or first grade, and now she's
Mm-hmm.
a Waldorf teacher. So we're dug in on that too.
Okay. Gotcha. 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 Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I just was, I don't think she recognized it as an auditory processing disorder.
Your mom. Your mom.
No,
Yeah.
not at
Okay.
that
Yeah.
time. And I think
Yeah.
maybe I was too close. So maybe she was
Mm-hmm.
too close to me and I was too close to her for me to open up to her about what was going on and for her to properly diagose me with anything.
Specifically about anything related to the ear. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
She
It was
wasn't like
more
checking
like,
your ears every night and giving you
no,
like
no.
snapping fingers in your ears before you went to bed and make sure. Okay.
In part of my fantasy of my life, I was like the patient
Yeah.
zero, or you know
I
what I
was gonna
mean?
say, do you have this kind of narcissism? Because I would. Yeah, I'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I was
Marsha
like, oh,
Johnson is my mom, and
yeah.
now the whole world knows because
And then
yeah.
you meet people that are 60 years old and they've had it for
Or you're like
50.
the first monkey with Ebola. Maybe you
Exactly.
spread it
Yeah.
to everybody else.
I hope not. But if I was, it
Yeah.
was my fault. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, it was typical. And I used to spend a lot of time in my room. So
Mm.
I remember when I was young, I got a sectional couch from a friend, and I was able to build the entire room was a bed, and then I had a TV, and I could spend unlimited time moving around my room in different places.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
great. Just get a little
yeah,
beer fridge, and you should pretty much set.
exactly. I think the only time my parents ever caught me with beer was with Smirnoff Ice, and so
Well, you'd have ice cream or something in the
ice
fridge,
cream.
but
Yeah,
or in the freezer part of it. Yeah. Um, Very okay. So yeah, a lot there. So I didn't even know you had siblings. And okay, yeah, that makes sense. What you mentioned is kind of one of your first triggers. Was your mom, was Dr. Marsha Johnson ever a trigger? This is the big question. Yeah.
yes,
Okay. Hmm.
yes, yeah, 100%.
From the
To
from the get go,
from the
or did that develop?
started with my brother,
Okay.
and then just kind of spread from there. But
So you're saying your mom caused you misophonia as a way to boost her business by creating a condition, a disorder.
exactly,
Interesting.
well,
Yeah.
to start the association. No,
Right. To get some friends. Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
So
That was
yeah.
all. I didn't. That was a joke. Everybody. Dr.
Yes,
Johnson did
exactly.
not
No, this is a
invent
joke.
misophonia
No,
for
I
for
was
a
not. I was
business
not.
benefit. Yeah.
I was not influenced. I remember my entire childhood was not in a lab, so it
Yeah.
was a happy, healthy home where
Okay.
I just had a disorder. So
So,
yeah.
but yeah, so like everybody else, like it started with somebody, and then family members were kind of first. Where was kind of your dad in the mix?
Uh, do you ever stay in the KOA?
Yeah,
Where
the
it's like
camping
something
thing.
camping ground?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
We used to go there and sleep in one of those small cabins.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad is just a big, nice Swedish dude, but he has that good old nice snore at nighttime.
I
So
was gonna get. Yeah,
that was
I was expecting a
my
snore story.
yeah. And my mom at that point, she was incredibly compassionate. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Unplugged my headphones. She
Mm-hmm.
was very compassionate at that point when we would have to go as a family because we didn't have a whole lot of money when we were
Mm-hmm.
kids. And we used to
Mm-hmm.
go and just spend the night with cabin, and she would make him go sleep in the car.
Mm-hmm.
So he would
Mm-hmm.
go and sleep in our van while we would all sleep in the
In
cabins.
the
But
tent. Yeah. Oh, in the
that was
cabin.
really
Okay.
the only thing.
Yeah.
It was yeah. That was just kind of just he's got a beard, and so you kind of make extra noises when you breathe and stuff like that. But
Right. Right.
other than that, yeah.
And what kind of reactions were you doing, like other than the headphones? Was it any acting out, or breaking stuff, or running
Oh
away?
no, never breaking anything. I would. I did the avoidance. Mine
Mm-hmm.
was
The flight.
avoidance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the
Common.
flight. Um, it wasn't really like yelling or screaming. There was, raptor glares and all of that kind of fun
Right.
stuff. But mine was typically the avoidance. So they would sit down, I would eat until I couldn't stand it,
Could.
and I would just grab my plate and take
Yeah.
off.
And it was cool with them.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
What about at Waldorf? How was the? Did it ever come up at school?
I kept it secret.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a
But were
nice
you?
thing.
Do you remember? Do you remember being a trigger at this school? Because some people it's
Yeah,
not. Some people they
yeah.
don't really remember it.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
100% through
Yeah.
high school, through
Mm-hmm.
college.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah, it was something that somebody would, tap a pencil, do all of those kinds of things that I would just could not understand it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that was attention deficit disorder.
So did
That
you get a
wasn't,
diagnosis for that?
I got, I mean, I don't really understand what the normal diagnosis is. They were like, do you have problems paying attention? Yes. Do you feel antsy when you're sitting
Yeah.
in a quiet room? Yes. Okay, you have
Right.
attention deficit, and
Super
so here's,
scientific. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't like a blood test or something like that. So
Yeah.
I've never had beyond what they that small diagnosis that they gave me. So they just were equating it to that.
And did they give you medication, or
As
were
I
you
said,
not doing medication?
I got the naturopath one. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
think it was
Okay.
an iron supplement
Yeah.
that
Okay. Okay.
you would
Rub
rub it
on
on
you
your belly.
on your belly. Okay.
On your belly. You would rub
Okay.
it on your belly, and that
Yeah.
was the cure for misophonia, or not, I keep saying misophonia, I apologize, for attention deficit disorder.
Attention disorder. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And did you ever take anything pharmaceutical or no?
How far do you want to go? Recreationally?
Oh yeah, no. I'm talking about that's for another conversation, eh? But no, I mean for the ADHD. No.
I never did. No,
Yeah. Okay.
no,
Okay.
I
Cool.
never did. I did some. If you had to study when you were in college or
Mm.
something, you could,
Oh,
get
slip.
some help that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Did what about like a psychotherapy? Did was that ever a no? Okay.
I never did. No, no, I never
Yeah.
did psychotherapy. Never
Mm.
did therapy at all. It was,
Okay.
yeah.
Because I mean, there's a lot of therapists that show up at the convention, at the association conventions and whatnot. I'm sure. Actually, I'd be curious. Yeah, now I'm super curious. Like, obviously, well, what did as you became an adult? What did Marsha do to help you? Because she talks a lot about different things. Obviously, the wide X headphones that put noise in your ears and whatnot. So, from an audiology perspective, you would think that she at some point would want to hook you up to
Yes,
some of those things.
yes.
Let's talk about like what was your treatment path?
I have been the test dummy for
Mm-hmm.
every device known to man. So
Mm-hmm.
that is
Mm-hmm.
a 100% benefit. That if she needs to test something before it goes out to a patient, I've used Widex, I've used the noise canceling headphones, I've used the newer bone conduction headphones just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
recently. So I've kind of got a firsthand, or not firsthand, but uh, the being in the testing phase of some of the things that she's recommended.
And what's your hot takes? I guess on like your top ones and your most useless ones.
The
What are your go
best
tos?
the best ones that I ever had. Not to like name drop or anything, but the best ones, and it could have been
Doesn't matter. I'm
because
never going to get a sponsor anyway, so you can say
yeah,
whatever you want.
but they might have been because they were the first. But they were I think they've improved them immensely now because they used to itch my ears, but they were the hearing aids. They were those
Mm-hmm.
Widex hearing aids that you would connect. I don't even think they connected to the phone. You would just put them in and they would play white noise.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember me getting them because my wife and I had moved back from LA and we were living in a small apartment. And she was at that point my number one trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember putting them on and eating and sitting across the table from her. And it just blew my mind.
Yeah, because it takes out all those little, the
It
little noise,
takes
the micro noises, right?
exactly. And
Yeah.
I thought, for the first time, I thought, wow, this is what it's like living with this and managing it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think I lost one of the hearing aids, and they're like
Yeah.
$2,800 a piece. And I didn't tell my mom. I just kept it secret from her for quite a while because I was so ashamed. She said, "You could have just reported that, and you could have used your renter's
Yeah.
insurance to pay for it." But I just
Right.
was really ashamed, and I never ended up getting another pair, but now I have the Sony
Yeah,
WH-104s. So
that's what I have
that's
too.
been,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, noise canceling on airplanes, noise canceling while we travel, noise canceling at home, just the
Are
best.
the Whitex noise canceling, or they're just
No,
injecting?
they were sound generators.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
So I think they have the noise canceling ones. As I said, I haven't had them since the original
Yeah.
trial period that I got to try them.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
think they've gotten much, much better in the you know, just with technology. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is there anything else you're doing? So obviously, yeah, like a lot of us, you got the headphones and some kind of sound going in your ears. Anything else you're doing other than avoidance and moving to a different country and trying to build your own, trying to build your own enclave?
moving to an incredibly noisy country. Um, what am I doing?
Like I don't know any like
Yeah.
even psychological things like just kind of thinking about in the moment or just relaxation or just being in touch with the body a little bit more, nervous system awareness, stuff like that. I'm curious.
Yeah, I've been doing vagal nerve breathing.
Yeah, tell me about
Like you,
that.
yeah, where you breathe.
Polyvagal and all that stuff is super
Exactly.
important. And all connected to the nervous system. Can tell me about your
Exactly.
vagal breathing.
So it's a process of breathing, and I know how to do it, but then I don't know how to explain it. But it's breathing out more than you're breathing in,
Hmm.
and I might be backwards on that one,
Nope,
but
I think you're
yeah,
right.
it's
Yeah.
breathing out more than you're breathing
And it's
in. So
supposed to
you
like
count
breathe, and it's also I think sorry to cut you off, but I think it's like very belly related, not about the chest, and
exactly,
it's through the nose. It's all through the nose.
exactly. So I've been doing that one with just when I'm starting to kind of peak or get over that breaking point. And I actually do it while I'm driving. We do a lot of road trips,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
my wife loves crunchy food on road trips.
Mm.
And so I've been doing that, a lot of that, uh, as I am just trying to calm my nerves. As I'm
I
just,
can
if
just
I'm,
hear that car crunching and the vagal
yeah,
breathing. Yeah.
exactly. And she sees it right away where I'm like sitting over there, like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also the other thing in here, we have music everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I have music every single place that we ever go. I've got Alexa or the Alexa, whatever the Amazon dots
Mm-hmm.
all over the
Mm-hmm.
house, and so I
Yeah.
can ask her to play some nice calming music whenever I need it. So that's been a really good kind of
You're like
cure.
totally tangent. How do you totally tangent, but like with the Alexas, like if you have so many, I have some that are in next rooms that are next to each other. How do
Uh,
you like other than like whispering to one of them so that you don't turn the other one on? How do you make sure that the right one turns on?
Maybe that's the benefit of concrete construction
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
because yeah, because I can do it. I can talk to one, and then it doesn't talk to the
Okay.
other one. But I also set it up so like one is in our living room, runs in the bedroom, and so that knows the
Oh,
difference.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But it's been good. I always say like play classical guitar, Alexa,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that's always a really nice one. And then I
Yeah, yeah,
scream
yeah.
and yell and abuse my artificial intelligence as everyone else does
Yeah, right, right.
until they become
Um,
sentient.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, cool. No, that's yeah, very similar to a lot of people. And what about yeah, you said like college, high school, college was kind of like 100% triggers. Like what about friends and stuff as you were growing up and then later into kind of like uh Nate the Man? Did you tell people? Were they triggering you?
I've had some of the worst experiences telling people.
Let's hear it.
My two best friends, I've known them since fifth grade. They are very chill, very cool. Um, but the outside of them, me sitting down at a dinner table and for some reason it coming up or me bringing it up because somebody is driving me insane has been almost I don't really like to bring it up to a lot of people anymore because
Mm,
it's almost seen as ridicule and
mm-hmm.
people trying to push your buttons to the breaking point. And I've had that encounter probably 5 of the 10 people that I've told.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really bring it up. I sometimes tell people, oh, I work for the Misophonia Association, and this is what misophonia is,
And that's it.
just to spread the
Yeah.
awareness. Not this is my misophonia,
Yeah.
but I say, I try to just inform people about what something maybe that there is somebody that might have it. And then they say, oh, I had an uncle that had that. And then maybe a little bit later down, I say, oh, also I have it too. But I found that the gut reaction to it has been a really bad experience for me.
And they would like mock you or make the sound
Yeah.
back to you or say snap out of it, all of the above.
Yeah, kind of. No, not a snap out of it, but
Mm.
like, is it a sound like this? Or
Mm.
is it a
Yeah.
sound like that? I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. You have death wish? Please continue.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, okay, it's time to end this dinner party. It's time to go
Yeah.
home from here. But
Have
yeah,
you
so
ever done
that's
that?
what
Like, have you pulled a George Costanza and just kind of left the situation
the
and
Irish
pretended like nothing
goodbye.
happened? Yeah.
My wife does the North Carolina goodbye, so I don't get to do the Irish goodbye. She
So
does
North
like
Carolina, what
the
is that? Like, you can't leave, and
you say goodbye like 17
okay,
times.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I I'm usually standing at the door with my coat, ready
I can
to
see her doing that. I can see her doing that.
yeah, ready to move on.
Okay, and so was there ever a time that you were more open, and you just kind of just like after like being wary of it, you've kind of pulled back a little bit? Was there ever a time you were like, "Hey, I'm Marsha Johnson's son, and I'm gonna tell you about"?
It's actually one of my favorite experiences. It's one of my favorite experiences is somebody telling me they have misophonia,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then I tell them
yeah.
my mom is and she works with misophonia, and then
Dr.
it
J,
usually
she's Dr. Yeah, yeah,
blows their mind for a little
yeah,
while, or
yeah.
they've read the New York Times article or seen something,
Right,
or
she's quoted.
yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
exactly. So yeah, that's usually when I really enjoy it, meeting somebody else who has it, and so that's again, I think I'm much better after the conference for about 3 weeks because you get so used to talking to people that understand
Yeah,
you. And
right,
then usually just because that's how life is, you just revert back to, okay, this is where I was before, and I'm not going to feel as open as I
right.
should, but just because not a whole lot of people understand yet.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, so talking to people, whether it's at the convention or not, like what are some of the and you're obviously a storyteller, what are some of the most more memorable stories that you remember? For me, it's like things like Lyle, um, who is kind of was was the inspiration for this podcast, I have to say,
Yeah,
because you were sitting, it was like basically I was sitting between you and Lyle, and the Lyle story just kind of like lit that light bulb on for me. What are some of the other memorable stories that you remember just through your life talking to
yeah,
people?
Lyle is just incredible. Just such a just heart open human being that will tell you the I feel that he has become such a like he's grown so much through the years that we've known him now, and you get to see so much more from him. Uh, other wow moments, meeting you, talking to you. I think that was really cool. Uh, Talking to Michael Menino. Michael
Yeah,
Menino is that
yeah,
mind. Every time I talk to Michael Menino, my life has changed. It's like I don't see when you think about when you get the consciousness to think about your own brain for a second, you can't really take that back. So and he also has misophonia, so he understands what we're
mm-hmm.
going through. He's not one of those doctors that's like, this is what I think that a brain scan is showing me. He's like, this is the
Right,
scan of my brain.
right, yes,
and,
you're
and
right,
I have misophonia and I know
yeah,
exactly how I feel. So
right,
he's mind blowing as well. Talking, I mean, with those monthly talks that we have too, I
yeah,
think that those are pretty mind blowing as well. You just get to get like those in depth conversations
yeah,
that you usually don't get. So yeah, talking to my mom about it, to be
Right.
honest.
Yeah,
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 talking to
yeah.
her and
Is that
being able to
something?
open up.
Yeah. So you said like at the beginning, you wasn't really like you were. There was like a it wasn't just didn't come up at home. Whether it was like uh,
No.
the nature of the relationship, or just you didn't want to bring her work home. But like you guys talk more about it now, and kind of what do you guys talk about?
We do, yeah. We
You
can
talk about
talk
the
about it.
cure that she's hiding,
We
or
do,
yeah.
yeah. She's got it in that lockbox
Mm-hmm.
in her
Mm-hmm.
closet. Uh, but no, we talk about it. She's a lot more open in terms of just trying to just talking to me about where my symptoms lie and
Mm-hmm.
how some treatment techniques. But to be honest with you, I've heard most of the treatment techniques, so we just
Yeah.
go into individual circumstances at this point. And she asks, how does that make you feel, and where does your mind go in these situations? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just nice to be able to have somebody just to bounce stuff off of that again understands you. And I get that little, and I talk to my wife about it too, but
Mm-hmm.
not that
Yeah.
much. We don't usually don't like to bring it up too much at home.
Yeah, so why is that? Because it's true. I mean, we don't like to. It's not like you said. Like we like to talk about it if somebody brings it up because we realize that they're probably suffering. They haven't had a chance to talk about it. But otherwise, this is not something that we enjoy thinking about.
Life
Because it's
goes
just like we
on.
want to. Yeah, exactly.
Life goes on. I have a 10,000 things I can talk about before I have to talk about
Hmm.
misophonia, work, and where we should travel next, and our
Or
budget.
yeah, for the right for the giant enclave, the villa. Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So there's always more things to talk about, and when we need to talk about it, I know that Cassie will be open. My wife will be open to
yeah.
discussing it. I know my
Yeah.
mom will be open to discussing it. I know my
Oh yeah.
brother, sister will be open to discussing it. But I like to talk about birthdays and their kids and all sorts of other things before I want to talk about my problems.
So, what do your brother and sister now think about misophonia? Like, do first of all, do they show any symptoms of it, or it never
Not
was
at
a thing
all.
for them?
No, not
Gotcha.
at all.
And what
Yeah,
was after having grown up and seeing you go through all this stuff? What's their reaction to it? And obviously, their mom being um, you know, the Albert Einstein of misophonia. Like, what
godmother.
do they think about it? Yeah,
It doesn't come up.
yeah.
It doesn't come up. No, I think that they understand it. I think
Mm-hmm.
that they can be slightly, or my little sister, which is funny, she can be slightly protective of me
Okay. Yeah.
when it comes to dinner parties or other things like that.
Yeah, what
So
happens at those like Christmases at the Johnson home,
we do
Thanksgivings?
not eat as a celebration together. We go on a
Okay.
walk as a celebration together.
Ah,
We we open presents as a celebration together.
but
Different things
eating
like
not.
that.
Yeah.
No, everyone has, actually, it's kind of nice. Everyone has their own little spot in my parents' house that we all go and we can eat, and then we can join back together to play games.
Oh, fascinating. So why is that? Was it just kind of the way your family is, or was it all about you?
It was all about me.
As
I'm
it should be.
loud. I'm the loud one. I'm the loud, or I guess my whole family is loud, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
loud, and so if I don't want something or I don't like something, I let everybody know pretty quickly that
Oh.
I do not want that, and I do not want to be here, and I will go and I will
Mm.
sit somewhere else. And so everyone else just kind of took note, and
Oh, so it is kind of you were kind of the a little bit
it's
the
all about
influencer
me.
there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. I'm a diet influencer or a dinner
Yeah,
table
yeah.
influencer.
Dinner
It's a
table
little
influencer. That's very 2024.
yes.
Nobody's heard about it yet. Cool. Okay. Um, fascinating. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, yeah. Why does eating have to be of all the things that people can do together? Why does eating have to be the thing?
It doesn't. That's true.
Uh,
I think that it goes back to, I don't know, that American ideal Like
Yeah.
sit around you. This is the American dream, is to sit
The
around a
Waltons.
table with
Yeah.
your family and eat dinner. They used to have those tables with like the king in England,
Mm-hmm.
where they would have
Yeah,
like
they were
the
all
wife would
straight.
sit here and
Yeah.
the
Ye-
husband would eat here,
right. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
like 35 feet apart.
Right.
Like,
I'm digging that.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, bring it back.
Yeah. Yeah. 2025 maybe.
Yeah,
Um, very cool. Okay. And what about down in Mexico? How is the awareness of misophonia, if at all?
I think it's next to none. I
Yeah,
mean, I
yeah.
haven't really done. I think that there was someone at the conference last year that was talking to me. She was anthropologist,
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking about its effect on places outside of the developed world. So, like
Mm-hmm.
talking about misophonia in developing countries, because sometimes it's people. I don't know if it's a privilege, like it's a privileged lifestyle that leads to this,
Mm-hmm.
or it might be upbringing, nurture, nature,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I haven't really done a whole lot of research down here, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really
Mm-hmm.
know enough to know, but I know that she was looking into it. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I could find her and I could maybe introduce you guys at some point.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting
But yeah,
topic to me. And it's a slightly different topic than my question, but definitely related. Like, yeah, because it has crossed obviously everybody's mind. Like, why are we? I mean, there have been some older people have come on the podcast, and so it definitely has. It's goes back many
yeah,
decades,
exactly.
but yeah, you're right. The thought even crosses my mind is okay, well maybe it's just like a modern phenomena, um, real but still a modern phenomena that might be linked to a more developed country. A lot of our needs are met, and so now there are maybe other things that can affect our nervous system that we notice. Um,
Exactly. So I have met people here that have it,
mm,
but unfortunately, every single person that I've met is American or Canadian.
okay,
So
expats. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha. Okay.
that's not
What?
only the people I meet, but that's the only people I've talked to. So
Yeah. What is maybe do you get a sense for like just in general mental health kind of awareness issues in the Mexican country?
it doesn't feel like it. No, no, it doesn't feel like
Mm.
there's not as much. Being from Portland, Oregon, where you get to see it front and center,
Mm-hmm.
you you don't see it as much here because of the family structure. And
Mm-hmm.
so nobody, not I won't say no one, but a lot of people aren't put into homeless, houseless situations,
Because there's
because of a
multiple
family.
generations
Exactly.
living
And
together. Yeah.
yep, and there's family structure, and even if they have uh, some sort of issue or mental disorder, they
Mm-hmm.
are not put out onto the streets. They're taken
Right.
care of here. So you don't really get to see it a whole lot,
Right. Okay. Okay.
which is beautiful. I mean, it's you walk around in the streets and you go to any of the villages. It's not there's
Yeah.
substance abuse issues, but there's not
Yeah.
you don't get to see that mental disorders as you did in Portland, Oregon.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, let's talk about maybe work wise. Like, what do you do now? You do a lot. You guys will do a lot of different things, which is nice. It's diversified. But like, have you ever had an office job, Nate Johnson?
Ooh, yes, I have. When I
Okay.
was 23 years old, and I was 23 to 28 years old. I worked as in front office management at a hotel.
Okay.
So I used to have to go out, meet guests that were angry,
Mm-hmm.
meet meet the one of my jobs when I was 23 was to go out and meet all of the celebrities. I had to go out and
Okay.
check. I go out and check them all in. For some reason,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was my task at the hotel. Some of them, there was actually one woman named Angel. She was just not an angel at all. That my employees knew that when she would come up, I would disappear into the back because she had a gum issue. So
Okay.
I would always
Okay.
I would always walk into the back. But
Yeah.
outside of that, after I guess it was 2012. I never had an office job, so
On
I work
purpose?
remote. I think so.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think so. I think I just started designing my life
Yeah.
around. I worked as a designer, so I was like a landscape designer.
Hmm.
So I got to work in an office by myself in my house, and
Yep.
then the rest of the time was spent burning calories outside. And now I'm
Yeah.
fully remote, working as a web developer. So
Hmm.
I have meetings and I have all of that stuff, but I don't ever have to be in one place if I don't feel like it. So,
Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah,
That's great optionality, as we talked about
yeah,
earlier.
exactly.
Um.
You got to have options. You have to, can't you can't keep it's like staying seated at a dinner table that's not very friendly. You gotta have those options so you can
Right. Yeah.
jump to the next place, right?
Right. And so you guys, are you planning to, so obviously this, anything about your life that you want to tweak in your kind of life design? Obviously you're in a pretty, you have a lot of agency where you are right now. Obviously, like
Yeah.
you're remote and the future looks bright, because you're working on the villa.
Yes.
Anything else you have planned to kind of like,
We just bought a Sprinter van.
okay, okay, yeah, for the road
So
trips, yeah.
for the road trips, so we bought it's not designed or built yet, but
Mm,
we bought one, and we kind of just went out on a my wife has wanted to do it, and I thought it was kind of an interesting idea. We actually did live in a van in Portugal for a couple of nights. It was like a
mm-hmm,
week. And it went pretty well because I can get
mm-hmm,
out and I can walk around and I can get out.
yeah,
It feels like almost like camping almost. So
right,
that's going to be a new adventure.
yeah,
So I'm going to have to design or build this van, and so that we can live in it for 3 weeks at a time and not go crazy.
right,
So that's going to be maybe having some white noise machines everywhere, and uh, figuring out how to work
yeah,
inside of it on rainy days.
right. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So you plan to take that on long trips and just kind of live?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mostly around
okay,
Mexico, but we're talking maybe just driving it through Central America into South America,
right,
going as
right, right.
far as we can, maybe to the edge of the world. So
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Okay. What are in your travels? Any interesting? Have you met misophones where you have traveled, Portugal or whatever?
sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we have. Well, oddly enough, not to bring up my mom, I don't know about bringing up my mom over and over and over again in this
Yeah, it's fine.
podcast, but we were in Mexico City
Yeah.
and visiting my older brother who was living there at the time,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and we were sitting down at a a restaurant, and this woman came up and she said, "Are you Dr. Marsha Johnson?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, I just listened to the NPR episode, and I had a
Yeah.
picture of you on
Oh, wow. Yes, celebrity. I need to put my picture up more often.
it. Exactly. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah. um, but other than that, sometimes I mean, I'm trying to think of if I've discussed it too much on my travels. I get to deal with it on my travels a
Yeah.
lot,
Yeah.
but I haven't found myself discussing it all that much. I feel like in Spain and in Portugal, I did talk about it a couple of times over some beers with some other people,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
but I can't put a face to the name or a name to the
Yeah.
place.
Right.
So,
Right. Any memorable like triggers? I mean, you don't have to like obviously try to explain triggers, but in some other countries, like what or any place you'd want to avoid.
oh, places let's just offend large
Yeah,
areas of the
yeah,
world.
yeah. Well, let's
Um,
try to do it in a let's try to do it in a way that doesn't offend offend a place or society or anything.
yeah,
But
places where eating with their mouth open is
Okay, okay.
culturally
Yeah, yeah,
appropriate.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
Right,
they,
right.
I think people know where those places are.
Right, 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 right.
So I think that that's one that I've been there, and I've tried to kind of avoid
Yeah.
going back there, at least just just eating wise.
Hmm.
Um, Places that are too crowded for me.
Yeah, so I was gonna
I
say like
think,
even just noise, like city, like
yeah,
like certain types of background noise and certain cities that but just have like a not good background noise. It could maybe just you.
exactly. So it's more like high vibration cities.
Okay, okay.
So always feel like that, like the rolling countryside of countries is beautiful, where you can
Mm-hmm.
just go and you know breathe out fresh air and breathe in the same thing. And I feel that in these high frequency cities where I maybe my tension is already around my throat or around my
Mm-hmm.
shoulders,
Right.
those places seem to be the worst for me.
Yeah.
Or places where people don't respect the personal bubble.
Yeah, yes, 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 yes.
Most of
Right.
Europe,
Yeah.
most of
Yeah.
Mexico, most of South
Mm-hmm.
America,
Yeah. That's important.
uh, yeah. So those kind of places where you'll be like waiting in line and somebody will walk up and you can feel their breath on the back of your neck.
Right.
You just
Right.
turn around and be like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
it's time to give me a little bit of room here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like those places are, those stressor points, and then obviously just the normal trains, planes, automobiles, right?
Yeah.
Those
Oh,
are
yeah. Right. Right.
they're just 18-hour flights are going to be stressful no matter what.
And that's why you got your Sony's around your ears.
Exactly. Yeah, these things have great battery life, and I
They
have a
do.
set
Yeah.
of Bose, and then I have a set of the AirPods. So
Yeah. Okay.
I'm like
You're
covered
stacked.
for, yeah, I'm stacked. I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah, just keep rolling through.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No. Very interesting. I know that you do. I know that you do a lot. Well, you've done in the past, like teaching English and whatnot, like teaching remotely. Has that
Yeah.
ever been an issue? Because sometimes people are on calls, with groups, and it's just like somebody's got the mouth sounds, or they're eating. How do you deal with online meetings?
Oh, man,
And
I
obviously, you run
don't
the
think
convention, so you must be quite experienced
I
in this.
run the sound on the convention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've had a couple of experiences. Not professionally, thank God, but a couple of experiences doing teaching where I've had to tell if it's a student or if it's, somebody, I've said, hey, why don't we save the eating till the end?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As respectfully as you can be.
Right.
Um, with meetings, I think that there's been a couple of people that it's almost like the same as the dinner time. I don't tell them I have it. I tell them
Mm.
about it, and sometimes
Mhm.
that is like a helpful thing. I
Connect the
say,
dots, kid. Connect the
Ex-
dots.
exactly. Let them
Yeah.
discover their own annoying
Right.
habits on their own. It's
Right.
the teach a man to fish, right? So
Yeah.
maybe I'm like, yeah, you know that there's people in the world that have a auditory processing disorder or another sound
Mhm.
sensitivity that
Right.
makes it so they don't like the sound of you eating chips. I have a headphones on right on my ears.
Yeah. Visual clues there. Speaking of visuals, misokinesia, visual triggers. Is that in Nate's
Is that
is
in
that
my?
Nate's list?
Mm, with
I
some
feel like we
things, I
talked
would
about
say
that. Yeah. I feel like we talked about that. Maybe you weren't. It wasn't so much of a big deal for you,
it's
but
not.
mm.
No, I'm very much auditory.
You can stare at Cassie eating and doing and crunching those chips, and it's totally fine.
Do I want to? No.
No. Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
I if I can't hear her, is the movement of her body, is that bothering me? Nah.
No.
It's
Okay.
it's not a big huge issue. I do have something with I do not I think it's because of eating, but I do not like people touching their face.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
straight. It's. I think that. I mean, that's as far as misokinesia is. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like. I don't like people that do this. I don't like people that do this because
Nate is putting hands on his face in
I
various
am.
forms
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
formats, and yeah,
They can cover an eye, but just
yeah,
don't.
right.
That's. I mean, that's as far as it goes. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
it when it comes to eating. The look of somebody eating, but I do
Gotcha.
have that
Yeah.
small thing. But it almost feels a little bit like an obsessive compulsive disorder. It feels like it's
Mm-hmm.
like a compulsive disorder
Mm-hmm. Okay.
where I do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want that
Yeah.
control. I want to take the control and tell them, please don't touch your face, or don't do
Right.
this, or don't do that. So.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're heading a little. We started a bit early. We're heading almost an hour, and this always flies by. Even though
Yeah.
we've talked in the past, I've already learned stuff. I didn't know you had siblings and what your origin story was. It would, yeah. I mean, I haven't talked to Marsha in a while. We can bring her up one last time because I'm sure people are interested in what is her latest like. What's her latest thinking and what she? I mean, it's kind of interesting that the conventions and all these events. Like she's seen everything pretty much in
Mhm.
terms of including some like real crackpot stuff down to like the very established things, but still she doesn't have. There is no panacea. There is no there's no miracle that she knows about, and in fact she doesn't. It's not like you may be the guinea pig for a lot of stuff, but there's nothing that that's kind of the go-to for you that she's given you as kind of a pure treatment, right?
I'll be the last to know.
Okay.
So when you find out, you can let me know if
Yeah.
she tells you. But I don't think I'm going to be the one that she's going to give it. She's not going to. I'm not
mm.
going to be the one she's going to give it
The
to.
first, you're not gonna be the first one
Not the first
to
one.
for a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, for the devices, sure, but no,
Yeah.
if it's the penicillin of misophonia,
Well,
then
my point was more that that she's seen everything just as a kind of a message to the audience, like a reminder there is no cure, and
yeah,
so even you like with you like she doesn't like there's no like single go to thing that you guys are doing. It's very much a
no,
multimodal um, thing.
exactly,
You're not flying over and spending thousands of dollars to get some weird fMRI or something or magnetic something else. Um,
exactly. Yeah,
so
and I think it's I think it's gonna. I think that I honestly think it's gonna come down when it comes to treatments. I feel that it's so individualistic
hmm
because it's. I mean I can't really speak to that to be honest with you, but um, I just feel like we're all on the same journey, but we all just have these different. It's just such a different past, but
yeah,
uh,
I mean, I think it is. It's not something like consistent that we're so many of us are
like a
born with. It's
pill,
not like
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's why I don't think a pill is going to.
yeah.
I don't think it's that kind of thing.
No,
It's
no. But there are. I mean, through the years, through the 10 years that I've been working with it, and for the 20 something years that I've been dealing with it, I've found things that I wish that there was more consistency in my life in terms of. I think that's maybe where the professionals can help you out is because they continue to push that consistency with things that work
hmm
because through the years I've had revelations. I've had times where I'm thinking this is manageable. This is something that I can live with. And then there's other times in my life where I'm just like there's this is I cannot live with this anymore. It's too much for me. I wish there was just some magic pill out there that I wouldn't have to live with this anymore. But uh, through the years, I mean, I feel that that's been just a wonderful thing. That there is no cure, but I mean, beyond beyond that, there are some treatments that really, really, really help.
Like what?
So
Like what are those? Are those some things you're talking about? Where
yeah, the vagal
yeah,
breathing,
vagal breathing.
those
Yeah, yeah.
the noise generators. I actually just
hmm
talking to you right now. I'm gonna go back and look for those again because that was the best time that I feel that I I've had it. I've had misophonia. That was the best I've ever felt.
Those white X.
Yeah, because I could
Yeah,
take them
yeah.
off. I would take them off and sit down with my wife at a dinner table and not have the same sensation. I kept
Why is
telling her,
that?
I kept
Because
saying it like it would almost like it would take something out of it. It would take something out of the trigger. It would like almost
mm,
weaken the trigger down.
well, even taking the white X's out of your ears, and so they're not
Exactly.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
That there was something, maybe at that time it was a lot more visual stuff, so they would take away that anticipation of like,
Mm-hmm.
sitting down and being on edge. So not being on edge over and over and over again started to kind of whittle it down a little bit more and more.
Mm.
So
Maybe just calm that nervous system,
exactly.
or just maybe, like I tell people, just like knowing that you could use the device maybe calms you down a bit.
And Whitex, do the right thing. You know exactly what it is. Sponsorship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've no one has ever called my phone for that purpose. So
Yeah, no, me neither. I
and
ran into the I actually checked when I was in that hospitality job. I had to go and meet the president of Widex. He was checking
mm,
into our hotel for a conference, and I had to check him in. And I had met him at a previous party in Minnesota,
mm-hmm. Oh,
and I
really?
said,
Okay.
yeah, I said, it was at, I think it was at Buzz Aldrin's house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Um, but I said, I met you before. I went to your house. So
Mm,
yeah, yeah. So he knows who I am. I mean,
yeah. 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 I mean, and you're Marsha Johnson, so yeah. I mean, you can go
yeah,
walk down the audiology red carpet anytime you want.
exactly. Air travel.
Um. Well, yeah. No, those are. I mean, those are good tips. I mean, anything else you want? Yeah. Anything else you want to share, Nate, on the record as we kind of wind down? This has been super helpful. Getting
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
whole
no,
backstory, the other side of Marsha, but then also just mainly your life story and kind of like your thoughts and what your current thinking is. Anything else you want to share with people?
if you haven't, if you're, I mean, for your audience, if you have never talked to somebody that has misophonia before, if you've lived this by yourself your entire life, or for, if you're young and you're afraid to talk to your friends about it, find a community, or, reach out to the association, or come to the conference, or, just do something in your life that you can talk to somebody about this, because it's such a brighter world when you're able to voice it to people that understand. So that would
Yeah,
be my final thought.
yeah, and just to give you guys a plug, like if somebody can't find a community, you can watch people talk about it by checking out the videos from the conventions. Do you want to tell people how to get in touch about
Yeah.
that?
So the main website for the association is misophonia-association.com or
Mm-hmm.
.org.
Mm-hmm.
And we have our own we had a separate website called misophoniavideos.com. It's part of
Mm-hmm.
the association, where we house all of the videos from the conference. We have actually monthly talks with experts about this, Q and
Not all of them are
A's.
experts, especially that guy in February. But yeah.
The last one was just a quack. No, it was so nice to talk to you. But yeah, we have monthly talks, so you can ask experts outside of the convention. It was kind of during the pandemic that we thought of that, the
Mm-hmm.
monthly Q and A's, because I just thought one time a year having a
Yeah.
conference is just not enough to connect people. So I just wanted to
Right.
continue to connect people throughout the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's our plug. If you want to follow my journeys on native nomads,
Yeah, that's another thing we should play. I'll have links to all these, but yeah, native
yeah,
nomads on the web and
YouTube,
Instagram, YouTube.
Instagram, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, all the
I'm
social
sure I'm
web.
subscribing. Yeah, I'm gonna be double checking it. This night times when I do my kind of YouTube education, so I'll make sure I'm subscribed
Yeah,
to you
yeah. Like
guys.
and subscribe, and if you something,
Yeah,
hit the bell. I don't know.
yeah. I was gonna say there's usually a bell people add that kind of wakes me up
Yeah.
or triggers me.
But that's mostly all the plugs that I
Yeah.
have. But I mean, I just think that what you're doing is just an incredible thing. It's just spreading. I think it's we're gonna be look back. We're gonna look back on these times and just say like we're so happy. Number one, we met each other, but then
Mm-hmm.
we're so happy that when nobody else really believed that it was a real thing, that we were spreading it with as many people as possible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think about that too. I mean, I tend to it can be frustrating at times, but I'm attracted to topics like this. Unfortunately, I have the issue, but like where it seems like we're kind of ahead of the curve of something very important that people
Yeah,
are like society's not paying attention to, or they're kind of dismissing. So,
exactly.
I'm glad we're kind of doing this together, and yeah, I hope to see you again soon. And thanks for all you do for spreading the word. And um, yeah, and thanks to your mom.
Yeah, thanks, John. One more plug.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, hope to Cassie too. When at a future convention or otherwise,
Yeah, November 1st through
or
the 3rd, I
housewarming for
believe.
your for the estate.
Exactly, exactly. When we have it, when I have the Misophonia designed house, we'll do another episode or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll
I'll fly down there. Okay. Cool.
yeah, yeah, we can do. You can be in one house, I can be in the other.
Yeah.
but
Good.
yeah, yeah, we'll have to talk, and I'll tell you how it went.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Nate.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Nate. Great to chat again, and hope to see you again in person soon. If you like this episode, don't forget to leave a quick review or just hit the 5 stars wherever you listen to this podcast. You can hit me up by email at hello@misophoniapodcast.com or go to the website, misophoniapodcast.com. It's usually easiest to send a message on Instagram at Misophonia Podcast, follow there, or Facebook at Misophonia Podcast, and on Twitter it's Misophonia Show. Support the show by visiting the Patreon at patreon.com/Misophonia Podcast. Theme music, as always, is by Moby. And until next week, wishing you peace and quiet.